investment and speculation impossible. The Dow futures market is showing a nearly 400-point drop in response to a borderline crash in Asia and Europe tonight. It appears Morgan Stanley will be on the next big bank to go under. Now, I've heard that from more than one source. Morgan Stanley will be the next big bank to go under, most likely. In all likelihood, this week we will see the biggest stock market crash in history. Now, hold on. We just saw the biggest stock market crash since 1929 last week. The Great Depression? He says, in all likelihood, this week, this was written on Friday, we will see this biggest stock market crash in history. Rumors abound that municipalities and states will default on bonds this week. California and Massachusetts look like good candidates. The cessation of many government services and checks could follow. If you're depending on the government for your Social Security, telling you, Iceland and Pakistan are on the verge of bankruptcy, but Iceland's already over the edge. Okay, they're already there. My guess is that we could see disruptions. Now, here's another guy saying this that is totally unrelated to the last guy. And that's why I tried to order these things that I'm talking about today in this specific order so we could get confirmation. My guess is that we could see disruptions in food supply of food within 2 weeks, with food riots within a month. Food riots. If that is the scenario, then we may see the suspension of the election. Well, I can't bring myself to say it. I do not write this casually. I do hope that I am mistaken. I ask God that I be completely wrong. But this is what the situation appears to be at the moment. Okay, so this guy seems to be writing this with fear and trembling toward the Lord. Today, the Dow Jones plunged 600 points in the final hour of trading, or 7% in 1 hour. It should not have done so. It was set up for a rally. That it has done so is a clear indication that a total market meltdown and financial economic crash is upon us. The banksters, having enslaved formerly free markets to the cheap, sleazy drug of easy credit, remember we were just talking about easy credit, have now cut off the addict from its supply. What does that mean? Well, let me read it again. The banksters, having enslaved formerly free markets to the cheap, sleazy drug known as easy credit, have now cut off the addict to its drug supply. See, they were the ones that created the credit system. Now they've cut off the addict. So many people just live on credit. Well, I buy everything on credit, as though that's the way it was in Jesus Christ. Yeah, Jesus had a credit card. He went around and he got in debt, and the apostles did too, and they ran up their credit cards like crazy, and they lived off credit. They didn't do any of that. None of that. We are now seeing the retching of withdrawal and the tremors of death of the global economy. Well, at least the present day one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end part 1 there. We'll go to part 2 next.